You're listening to the Practical Wealth Show with curtmay, putting you in the driver's seat to control your finances. Let's start the Practical Wealth Talk about alternatives to Wall Street.
Hey guys, so welcome to another episode of the Practical Wealth Show. I am excited to have a special guest with you today, Mr. Austen Allred. So Austen is a tech entrepreneur, so that's exciting, and the co-founder of Lambda School. And so just give you a little background in his bio. He was born in Utah. Austen left college early to travel and work in China, where he specialized in business growth, user acquisitions, and SEO, search engine optimization. When he returned to the U.S., Austen started a crowdsourced news creation company. We'll talk about that, called Grasswire. And after struggling to compete in an oversaturated news market, he was forced to close his business down and found himself in heavy debt from recovering from the cost of the company. As a result, Austen self-published a book on getting out of debt that sold over 250,000 copies. After traveling from the U.S. to Utah frequently and seeing the disparity in income levels and job training in the community, Austen and his business partner, Ben, formed Lambda School, a training program specialized in coding, computer science, and web development. Lambda School introduces a revolutionary tuition model, get this guys, that asks graduates to pay once they've landed a successful job. Talk about performance-based marketing, right? That using this incentive structure allows bright and cash-strapped students and individuals to undertake specialized coding and development training without a risky decision. We got to talk about that. So I am excited to welcome Austen to the Practical Wealth Show and to share with the family out here how that works, because either they're interested or they got kids that should be interested. So Austen, tell our listeners a little bit about what I didn't say in the bio, and let's talk about what you got going on.
Yeah, man, I think you said all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically we're a school. We train software engineers and data scientists for free in live online classes in exchange for a share of their income for 2 years. So the idea is to make it completely risk-free to gain a new career and to launch a new kind of life for yourself and avoid, debt and student loans as much as possible.
That is fascinating. And so what birthed that idea?
Just have so many friends with hundreds of thousands of dollars in student loans and nothing to show for it, or, the same job that, working as a barista or something.
Yeah. With a master's.
Yeah. So it's just like, man, what if the school didn't get paid for those people? Because clearly they're not using the degree. Like, it's not benefiting anybody. Why does the school get hundreds of thousands of dollars when that person's still a barista? Like, shouldn't there be some connection between the two? And so we started playing with that idea of, what would world look like where schools only got paid if it worked for you, and just kind of started playing with it from there.
Wow. How long has the school been in operation?
Almost 2 years now.
Okay. And are you finding that they're getting out, making money, and paying you back?
Yeah. I think we're just about to hit our 100th student hired.
Okay.
Which will be exciting. And people are. I mean, it's easy to make payments when you feel good about it and you're making more than you did before anyway. So
yeah, absolutely.
Almost everybody's net ahead, even including paying us.
Wow. I saw something on the notes that it's a percentage of income if they're making more than 30,000.
50,000. Yep.
50,000. Oh yeah. And the payback is capped at 30.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good, if you can make 50,000 plus, because when I talk to clients, I say, listen, you have to look at, people don't do a cost benefit analysis on education. And
right.
You know what I mean? And so you'll go back and you get this master's, and then so you go into debt to make more earned income, which is going to get taxed at a higher rate. So now if you're looking at the debt you have to service plus your net money, you're not making as much money as you think you did. They don't really look at college that way. And so this way, it's like, okay, well, if you're capped at 30, you're going to get a bump, because we know, like I remember reading that, I saw an interview with, what's the guy from Facebook?
Mark Zuckerberg?
Mark Zuckerberg, yes. Oh, that's the age. I'm a senior at the moment. I remember this was a while ago, 5 or 6 years ago. He was talking about that there wasn't enough coders, and he had to import people from India because there wasn't enough competent U.S. coders. So that is a good, you got to position yourself, guys, in front of the curve of where you see, growth and opportunity. Would you say that the school, challenges, I see it in a couple ways. We probably already talked about it. How does the school challenge traditional university structure?
Yeah, I mean, I like to think that it's faster, cheaper, and better. 7.5 months long as opposed to 4 years that you would spend in, university. Costs much less than university education would. And probably most importantly, we get you out in the job market faster and get you earning money and with job experience faster. So it's a pretty big difference between someone who goes to Lambda School and lands a job versus someone who spends 4 years going to a traditional university.
Do you help them with that on the, once they're going through it, or are they doing real world stuff so they're out and they're actually ready to work because they know how to do stuff?
Yeah, I mean that's kind of the point. We view ourselves almost as a trade school.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
Yeah, so instead of 4 years of a classic liberal arts education, let's just teach you the skills that you need to get paid.
Yeah, I love that. Okay. And I'm teaching a class at a trade school right now, but the trades, like, plumbing and HVAC, but they'll come out, they're like 16 to 18, they will come out making money without the debt.
That's right.
That is good stuff. So let's talk about, how do students find you, or if they're what we've just talked about thus far is interested in, is how do they qualify to get in and what should they do?
Yeah, so we teach some free classes, which will basically get you prepared for Lambda School. And similarly, when we're looking at who we want to accept, because we view it as an investment, right? We're going to spend tens of thousands of dollars to help somebody get trained, and we want to get paid back. So we really look at how well you do in that prep class to make a lot of our decisions around how successful you'll be.
That's fascinating. That's great. I love that. I love performance-based. It's an investment and you're getting a return on investment, but they're investing in themselves, which goes back to my number one premise is that I tell people you are your number one asset and you have to invest in your mindset, your skill set, and your network. And you've taken out the risk, upfront risk.
That's the idea.
Yeah, that is awesome. So at the end, you got to give out the or you can say it now, but I'm gonna put it in the show notes. But where would they go to apply or to take the free classes?
Lambdaschool.com.
Okay, that's easy, guys. We'll put that in the show notes. So let's talk about the debt. You sold a book. What's the name of the book that sold 250,000 copies?
It's called Secret Sauce: The Ultimate Growth Hacking Guide.
I saw that. Okay. I didn't know that was about the debt. Okay. So I was going to ask you about your book, Secret Sauce. Okay. So
it wasn't about debt. It just got me out of debt.
Oh, okay. So let's talk about Secret Sauce then. What is the premise of, because I thought it was more so about internet marketing, about business.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's about how to very quickly grow a company with no or little money, just how to drive interest around a product. So it's really about how to get the first 1,000 people involved and interested in what you're doing and what your company is.
And would you say, does it matter if they're looking at the book, should they more of a internet online marketing? Would you say it's pretty evergreen and or market specific, or would it work for who should be reading it?
Yeah, really. It should work for any type of company. So anyone that has something they'd like to gain an audience for, it should work.
That's great. Yeah, that's the thing. And so let me tell you guys what I hear. So he was in debt. He created some intellectual property out of his head, because money is an idea, that he created value in the marketplace, and that generated revenue to get him out of debt.
That's exactly right.
Yes. As opposed to, hey, I want to give all of my money to the bank. And so they're happy. And at the end of the day, I'm broke. So, which is not a good strategy. So what are some of the steps that a business owner can take to scale up their startup's growth that you found?
Yeah, the first step is really finding that perfect audience for what your startup or what your company is. So, not the 1,000 people that think it's okay, but the 10 people or the 100 people that would really, really, really love it. So you build something for those, that small number of people. And then, from there, you just try to expand that number. I think a lot of people fall into the trap where they try to make 1,000 people kind of happy instead of 10 people incredibly happy. And that's, it's just a much better way to go about it by making a few people very, very happy.
How did you go about identifying your perfect audience?
So, I think you have to think from the perspective of what that person is like. Maybe research them online. The first chapter of the book, which is free at secretsaucenow.com, covers this, but how to think through the persona of someone who would just love, what you're doing, how to find who they are, figure out where they're interacting online, and then really target those places. So just try to find those people.
Okay. What were some of the financial challenges and risks that you find that I noticed in the book also running a startup?
Yeah, the real risk is, you kind of forgo an income, and you have to have enough somehow to make it to the other side where you're getting paid. So you raise money, you can get revenue coming in. There are a lot of different ways that you can go about it. But that's the real trick, is getting things off the ground without, it's easy if you have money, and the goal is to get there without having it, because most people don't.
Right, exactly. Because you can always generate revenue by selling something.
Exactly.
I tell people, look, sell something. If you're not selling it, you might not have a business if nobody wants to buy anything. If you ever go on Shark Tank, they want to know, well, tell me, what are your sales? And that's a good, so you got to sell it, or I hear people say pre-sell it, find out those people and see if they'll send you money, so you can figure out if it's worth it to go ahead and build it around that marketplace. I like what you're saying, because their people are in love with their dream of what they want, but they never find out what the market wants. So, when you say, look, find out what they want and that they would love to have and give it to them.
Yep, I think that's exactly right.
Why you left school early? What led you? Were you always entrepreneurial? Tell us the genesis of that.
Yeah, I was always entrepreneurial, always kind of selling stuff on eBay, and from a very early age, I just knew that was the path for me, and felt like I wasn't getting as much out of college as I was paying in tuition. That's not true for everyone necessarily. I don't necessarily recommend my path, but just felt like I wanted to pursue something else.
Yeah. I bring that up because, college isn't the path for everybody to road, to greatness. And I felt you were going to say something like that, but I wanted people that are feeling that to hear that, and entrepreneurship isn't for everybody.
Yep. I agree.
I think though, you should, if you're hearing this, if you don't have to leave your job, but you should have something on the side, because the tax code is designed for landowners and business owners. So you're never going to get the full, you're never going to keep all your money unless you order your affairs accordingly. So that is good stuff. And so I tell you, I'm so fascinated with the school. You have any, I'm going to go back there for a second, because that's fascinating. Do you have any success stories of out of the 100 people that you can share with us, some of their backgrounds and maybe their stories a little bit, where they were and then what they were able to accomplish after going through Lambda?
Yeah, man, we've got crazy success stories. Everything from a guy that was working in a warehouse, got hired by Uber, guy that was a social worker making $22K, got hired at Amazon making $150.
Wow.
Just all sorts of crazy stuff. Yeah.
That's worth 30 grand.
Yep.
Oh,
they'll happily pay 30 grand in that scenario.
Absolutely. Yes. That is a fascinating. That's to my mind, that's capitalism at work. You see a problem, you solve it, you're at risk. You're not just inflating your prices because you're using borrowed money that you don't, they're graduating and you've been paid already and they have to deal with the debt. You're kind of putting your money where your mouth is.
Yep. Yeah, that's exactly right.
Let's talk about you specialize in SEO and user acquisition. So for my small to medium-sized business owners, is that still as, I won't say important, but is it still like as major of your like growth element as it used to be, let's say 5 years ago, in your opinion?
Yeah, I mean, if I were a new business owner, I wouldn't focus on SEO as much as maybe, some social media marketing, some of that stuff. Because SEO is expensive and takes a long time before it shows results. But yeah, I think the same principles apply today.
I was thinking that it seems like, I mean, that is part of SEO, I think, but it's just a different channel.
Yeah.
You don't have a lot of money. Like small businesses need results. And if you're going to, so you got to find something to sell somebody that, like I like marketing or like telling people their investment is your number one asset, because investing in your business is the only thing where you can put in $1 and get back out $2, which is 100% growth. You can't do that in many other, you can't do that with mutual funds, for example.
Yeah, definitely not. Or if you can, let me know what mutual fund is.
Yeah, exactly.
100%.
Even Dave talks about 12%, and
it's a little aggressive.
Yeah, that's a little aggressive, right? That's debatable. So it's like, but it's cool because you help people to look at I think getting people to think about investment in themselves, as a real thing that can grow their revenue, give them the ability to do that. That's, I always keep coming back to that because that absolutely fascinates me. Because see, now I would look at that person and then now you can deal with personal finance because you've got good revenue.
Yeah, you gotta have money coming in if you want to invest it. That's for sure.
Yeah. I teach people you got to save it, then you can invest it, but you got to make it first. So it always starts with making it. I tell people I can't steer a parked car.
Yeah, that sounds accurate.
Yeah. Tell me some things as we wind down a little bit, but some 3 or 4 like words of wisdom for, let's say a couple for like the business owners that are listening to you that should follow. And then for that person that's stuck in not, they paid a lot of money for school. I know there's 2 questions, so forgive me. They paid a lot for school. They feel stuck, and letting them know there's light at the end of the tunnel, and what should they be, what in your opinion could they be doing themselves to help them capitalize on their, on some of the opportunities that are out there for them in this marketplace?
Yeah. I think that first and foremost, so we'll start off for the business owners. For the business owners, just get to revenue as fast as you can. Find a way to make a few people love what you're doing enough to pay for it, even if it's $10, $20. And then for the non-business owners, I think the key is especially if you have a lot of debt, it's how big of a shovel can you get to start digging with. It's really difficult to, it's really difficult to climb out of debt if your income isn't high. So, cut your expenses, get on a budget, and then see if you can increase your income.
Right. It's like a headwind. It's like flying a plane against a headwind.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah, you got debt, you got taxes, you got, it's like if I was doing a talk Saturday, and it's like if you're flying at 100 miles an hour and you hit a $345 an hour headwind, you're going backwards at 245 miles an hour. I don't care, what kind of plane you got, because it's just too much headwind. You better land your plane and just wait for the wind to come around. That is good stuff. I always like to find out, since some of this is for my notes when I meet successful people, what are, let's say, 2 or 3 good books or physical or audio books that you're reading that you would like to share, that are a couple of things that are interesting you right now?
Oh man, I'm always reading a ton of books. My favorites are, I really like reading about Warren Buffett and Jeff Bezos and some of the successful business people who think really long term. I think that's an underrated strategy. I don't think many people think long term enough. And then for kind of self-helpy stuff, more Stephen Covey, How to Influence People. That all the classics that they're a little salesy, but there's some good stuff in there.
Let me just bring up another point. So let's go back to Bezos and Buffett, and let's talk about when you say long term, what do you get out of that, and how do you apply that into your thought process?
Yeah, I mean, you just optimize for what life is going to be like 20 years from now instead of optimizing for today or for right now.
Uh-huh.
So, you make wiser decisions if you're thinking about the future than if you're thinking about this exact moment.
Yes, that's key. I mean, there's a book by his name, Keith Cameron Smith. I think I talked about it on one of my shows that said, poor people are in scarcity. So they think day to day or week to week. Middle income people think month to month, but millionaires think at least a year, but it's more like 5-10 years. You used to hear Buffett go, well, 20 years from now, such and such will be so-and-so, and he more than likely won't be here 20 years from now, but he's still thinking. And that's a really interesting, point that you bring out, whereas you'll make better decisions that way. You're thinking long-term, because ultimately what's that saying? The sun is going to come up in the morning and it's going to go down the next day.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. I mean, Buffett doesn't look at the day-to-day prices because he doesn't care about what it is today. He cares about what it is 5 years from now. And that gives you a pretty significant advantage.
Where do you see since we're talking about that, where do you see, where would you like to see? So let's say we were having this discussion, let's say 5 to 10 years from now, where is Lambda?
Oh man, 5 to 10 years from now, we'd like to be in a place where we can, you show up, you somehow show us what you're capable of. I don't know if that's an assessment of some sort or a class of some sort or what. We determine what the best job is for you, and then we help you get there. So we take care of all your costs. We take care of everything that we need to take care of, and you pay us back on the other side. That's the big vision.
Dude, if we can help with that, from my listeners, or just, I'm sure you got more people qualifying that you can take, but I would love to, you give me a link and I'll try to, drum up some qualified people to send your way so you get some, I think our listeners across the country, but since I'm here on the East Coast, we'll give you some East Coast, because it's internet based. So it doesn't really matter, I guess, but,
Yep, that's exactly right.
Let's get some Philly representation up there. So, well, listen, Austen, I don't want to take up too much of your time. I appreciate you coming on the Practical Wealth Show. Do you have any closing words of wisdom for our listeners?
Nope. I think that's all I got. Just try to get stuff done.
Yeah, exactly. So that's good stuff. So listen, guys, we want to thank you for listening to the Practical Wealth Show. And so we're going to have the show in the show notes. We're going to put links to lambdaschool.com. We're going to put a link to Secret Sauce, so his book. And folks, make sure you reach out to Austen and his organization. If do the assessment or go through the course, see if this is a good fit for you. See if you qualify. I think for the right person, this is some brilliant stuff, and it is tremendous opportunity. So with that, folks, go out there and be prosperous. And so this is curtmay and Austen Allred, and we're out. Have a great day.
Thanks for listening to Practical Wealth. To access the show notes and resources, go to practicalwealthshow.com. To get your questions on the show, go to practicalwealthshow.com. This show is for entertainment purposes only. Before you make any investment decisions, consult a professional. This show is copyrighted by Practical Wealth. Written permission must be granted before syndication or rebroadcasting.